So fire separation distance, right? It's the distance measured from the building face to one of the following. I love this picture. It just makes me laugh, right? They say fences make good neighbors. What does edging do? And so what it tells us is we're going to measure from the face of the building to that lot line. And this house from the face of the building to the lot line. Yes, we're worried about fire from a building to a building. We're not worried about burning the fence in the middle of this, right? However, one building's owned by one person and one building's owned by the other in most cases. And so to allow the appropriate freedom for each of those occupants to do what they want on their properties, that distance between the buildings is basically split in half. So where else can we measure fire separation distance to? To the center line of a street, alley, or public way. And so this owner basically, their fire separation distance would be measured here, just as if this was the center property line. Public way could be something like a park like this. And so the same thing here, we would measure fire separation distance out to the middle of this. The IRC is not really a zoning document. The IRC doesn't have any reason that you couldn't have one lot and build two houses on one lot, and you have no center line. So maybe you pick that line right in the middle. But you don't have to. You could pick your imaginary line here and do a bunch of fire construction on this family 2 one and maybe not have to do anything on family 1. Or heck, you could move that imaginary line right over here. But then the very first exception says if it's like an accessory structure, you can just throw that lot line away and you're done. No imaginary line, no fire separation distance. In this discussion of fire separation distance, it's not protecting the fire between your house and your accessory structure. And that's why this exception fits. You put a different dwelling, now you have a different scenario. Now you have someone else's home, even if they're renting it from you on the lot. Let's say the property line is right here. Let's say they're 4 feet away. We have 8 feet between the structures, property line's right in the center. If you're less than 5 feet on that wall, you're going to need 1 hour fire resistant construction. With the property line, say here, the buildings are still 8 feet apart. This now allows is only this side would have to be fire resistant construction and this side would not. Let's do the last little part of this definition. The distance shall be measured at a right angle from the face of the wall. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit and get closer here. We got our property line running right down here, and we've got our exterior walls of the building looking like this. Now, if you look at these numbers right here, those aren't fire separation distance. Those numbers are setbacks, and we're back into planning and zoning worlds. Setbacks are measured completely different. Setbacks are in relation to the property line. You're going to go perpendicular to the property line for whatever distance that setback is, and then here's going to be your setback line. Nothing to do with fire, so we don't do setbacks. And so we're going to measure perpendicularly to the building wall like this. So our line would be this way, that fire separation distance, perpendicularly out from this wall, perpendicularly from that wall, perpendicularly from that wall. So your property line could end up in this little corner here, let's say, no problem, because you're not in that distance perpendicular from the walls.